everybody, it's Carolyn Bloom from Bloom Handmade Studio, coming to you from my studio here in Sleepy Hollow, New York, right along the steamy hot banks of the Hudson River. It's August and it is not a day to be wearing a wool scarf, but I'm here because I'm really excited about this collaboration that I've done with Marian Skazari of Marionated Yarns. And I wanted to hop on to tell you a bit about this project and this collaboration, as well as give you some pointers on how to work each of the different steps in the scarf, so that should you try to give this a go, you've got a resource to help you approach all the different little bits. Before I jump into those tutorials though, let me just tell you a little bit about my relationship with Marian. We've known each other for many years now, and I think that this is the 6th collaboration that I've done with Marian, and it's actually one of 2 that I'll be doing with her for the upcoming Woolfolk Festival, which is taking place on the Friday before the Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool Festival. You'd think I know that date off the top of my head at this point, but no, I don't. So I'm gonna put it here in the screen scrolling by after the fact, so it'll look like I knew, but I don't remember. It's in October. It'll probably be a little cooler then, touch wood, and a scarf like this will be more appropriate. Anyways, Marian and I have become great friends and are excellent collaborators. She and I have talked for years about wanting to do something that is not gender specific, hence the elemental scarf. This is a Fisherman's Rib scarf, which is a very simple rib. It actually looks a bit like brioche. If you get right up close to it, you might think that was made with brioche, and I do love brioche. It's not just for breakfast, folks. A good brioche rib stitch is one of my favorite go-to stitches for all of my design work, or much of my design work. But this is actually Fisherman's Rib, which is kind of the imposter of brioche. So if you've been a little hesitant to give brioche a try, this may be the perfect gateway stitch to get you going into brioche. It is a super dense ribbed fabric, and you achieve that by knitting into every other stitch on the row below. Doesn't that sound exciting? I'm going to show you how to do that here in a couple minutes. But in addition to having this single color of Playtime DK in the colorway Spelunking, which is one of my favorites of Marian's colors, although if she were sitting right here next to me, she would say, but Carolyn, you say that about all of my colors, which it's true. I love all of Marian's colors, but Spelunking is my most favorite of all my favorites. This is a deep navy with a lot of black running through it. It's very gender neutral. I love wearing this, but I could also see one of my boys, my husband or my son, stealing this for their own purposes in the winter. And I think it would also be gorgeous on my daughter with her beautiful blue eyes. So Spelunking and Playtime DK is a go-to favorite for me. But in this pattern, Marian and I decided we had to do a 2-tone version. So here is the 2-color version of the elemental scarf. And that blue may look familiar because, yeah, it's Spelunking again. I really do love it. Here's Spelunking, but partnered with Charlotte. And I've had some leg wrestles with people lately because I see that as brown. That's Charlotte. And I've had some people say, no, it's purple. So I don't know how that's coming through on your monitor right now, but maybe you see it as brown, maybe you see it as purple. Marian is so tactful. She says that it's a brown with purple undertones. I think that sounds like a great compromise. So here we are with Charlotte and Spelunking. This is just one of many color combinations that I would love for a 2-tone elemental scarf. And if you happen to be going to that Woolfolk Festival, I'll be at Marian's booth and more than delighted to help you pick out a combination to make your own elemental scarf. For today though, what I'm going to focus on in this video is how to work. Let's get my tag on. Let's go to this side. I'm going to talk to you about how to work this Intarsia version, this 2-tone version of elemental, showing you how to cast on with the German twisted cast on, how to twist those colors so that you don't have a big gaping seam here in between, And then I'm going to show you how to work that Intarsia twist on each of the rows as you go along and make this scarf. So those are some of the components that you'll see in the upcoming tutorials. I'm going to timestamp everything, so if you already know how to do the German twisted cast on, if you already know how to do a slip knot, if you already know how to do some of the more basic things, go into those show notes, find the part that you want a little bit of help with, and feel free to jump forward right to that section and pick up where I can be the most useful. And as I said, if you're going to be at Woolfolk, I'd love to see you there. Marion would love to see you there. I love her yarn. This is Playtime DK, but I've also got another project that we'll be releasing in advance of Rhinebeck that uses some of her gradient sets. So that's pretty exciting too. So stay tuned for that as well. But perhaps short term, maybe Elemental will grab your fancy and you too will want to get into a super luxe, dense, squishy scarf for the upcoming winter. Okay, let's get into those steps to make the scarf. Begin the Elemental scarf. You'll start with a slip knot. To do so, take the tail of your yarn and place it over your body like that. From the back of that loop, reach through, take the body of your yarn and pull it through that loop, creating what looks like a lasso or maybe a little hat. Stick your needle through that second loop, grab your body of your yarn, your tail of your yarn, and pull taut. Slip knot intact, you'll now begin the German twisted cast on. The German twisted cast on, what you'll do is think of your pointer and your thumb as the beak of a duck. Go ahead and slide that beak underneath the two strands hanging from your needle so that the tail of the yarn is hanging over your thumb and the body of the yarn is hanging over your pointer. Go ahead and open that beak now so that the strands are taut over your thumb and your pointer, and you're able to control your tension by just opening and closing gently that beak. What you'll do next is rock your needle, so twist your left hand this way and take your needle underneath both of the strands that are underneath your thumb. Then taking the tip of your needle, think of striking a match down your thumb by running the tip of the needle from the tip of your thumb to the base of your thumb and underneath the loop that you've just twisted. Then you'll rock over to the pointer, grab that inner loop, and very gently slide it underneath the loop that was on your needle. Go ahead and pull your body and your tail taut, and there is your first loop of your German twisted cast on. Let's definitely do that again. So here I am, I'm a duck. I'm going to pop that up onto my thumb and pointer. I'm going to rock over to the left, scoop up both of those strands, strike a match. There's your twist. Then you rock over toward your pointer, grab that loop, and gently just pull the tip of your needle through the twisted part with that loop from your pointer, and you've created your second stitch. What do you say? Should we do it a third time? Let's do it. So here we go. Rock to the thumb, go underneath both loops, strike your match, make your twist, rock to the pointer, grab that inner loop, and pull it right over the tip of your needle. All right, one more time for the cheap seats in the back. Here goes. You're going to go under both loops on the thumb, strike your match, rock over toward the pointer, and grab that inner loop and pull it right through. There are your 4 stitches. I'm going to add a few more and then show you what to do to add the next color. For the purposes of today's sample, I'm just going to be working across 10 stitches of my cream color. I'm now ready to add my second color, and to do so I'm going to begin the exact same way as I did with the cream, which is to say with a slip knot and then more German twisted cast on stitches. So as before, go ahead and make a loop where the tail is on the top, reach from the bottom through that loop and grab your tail, and through that second loop insert your needle. Pull the body and the tail taut And then you'll have your slip knot right next to the last stitch that you use the German twisted cast on to cast on your first color. Now you'll begin the German twisted cast on with the second color. Same as before, go ahead and make your pointer and thumb into a duck. Pop the tail and the point and the body of the yarn over thumb and pointer accordingly. Rock over to the bottom of the loop over your thumb. Grab both loops and strike a match. And there's your twist. Rock over to the inner strand on your pointer, grab that strand and pull it through the loop you made with your thumb. Pull tail and body taut, and there you have your first German twisted cast on stitch in the new color. Let's go ahead and add a couple more here. So under both loops, strike your match, rotate to pointer, grab pointer, and pull it right through. You really can start to get into the rhythm here. The more you practice this, the easier it will be. But really the point of demonstrating this today is to just show you that when you get started with this pattern, it is true you're going to have a little gap here, but we're going to deal with that in the next round when we twist our colors. I'm going to go ahead and add on a few more stitches, so I've got 10 of my second color to match the 10 of my first color. Now that I've casted on my stitches, I'm ready to begin the foundation row to the elemental scarf pattern. To do so, you're going to slip that first stitch as if to knit. So you're not actually knitting it, you're just slipping it as if to knit with the yarn in the back. You'll then bring the yarn between your needles to the front of your work and begin purling. And yes, I am a rather glacial purler. Will claim that I'm doing this for the speed of the video to make it approachable, but this isn't too far off from how it goes for me, folks. I've tried to make myself into a picker, but I am resolutely a thrower, a righty who throws. So here I am, though, making progress across those 10 stitches. And this is going to happen on that first foundation row. You're going to finish with your second color that you casted on, and you'll have this kind of gap between your work. No worries. Go ahead and bring your work together like this. Stick that needle into the next stitch as if to begin right away, but you're going to now twist your yarn. So I've taken my first color that I've begun with, and I've brought it over the top of my second color, making a little twist like this. Now I'll begin purling with my second color. Give it a little tug too. You're the boss of your stitches, right? Go ahead and give that little tug and then purl across your next color. You may be thinking, but this is a ribbed scarf. Why am I just purling and not working in rib? Well, this is your foundation row. This is setting up your stitches so that you can begin the Fisherman's Rib in that next row. So I'm just going to work all the way across in purl stitches. Even that last stitch is going to be purled. And you can see here, if you pull your stitches apart, you're going to see that your second color is indeed trapped in the first stitch that you came to in the next color. You can give that a little tug, give this a little tug, and you'll see that by trapping that, our stitches are going to be intertwined and there won't be a gap going forward. We're now ready to work the first row of our Fisherman's Rib. All the first stitches of the rows in this pattern begin with a slipped stitch as if to knit with the yarn in the back. So go ahead and slip that stitch as if to knit, bring your yarn to the front and purl one stitch. Bring your yarn to the back, and now we're going to knit into the stitch beneath the one that's on your needle. So here's the stitch on the needle. It's this V right underneath that stitch. Not here as if to knit regularly, but underneath into that V. Go ahead and stick the tip of your needle in and pull your yarn through. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause that stitch on your needle to come off and you're beginning your Fisherman's Rib. This is where that really luxe fabric comes from. You're essentially creating a double layer to your knitted stitch. So again, not here, you're going into that V stitch underneath the loop on the needle. Pull that loop right through. So purl one, and then knit one into the row below. So right there, grab that guy, pull your yarn through. Go ahead and work across all of your stitches here so that you're going to end with your cream color with a purl stitch. Now you're going to bring your yarn to the back of your work, and this is where we twisted on that first foundation row. You see that my yarn of my second color has gotten a little spaced out. No worries, just grab that and pull it taut so your stitches are nice and close to one another. And just as we did before, we're going to twist our yarn. So I finished here with my cream color. I'm going to drop that down. I'm going to grab my blue color. You see how it's been trapped? It's been trapped here by that cream on the row below. Now I'm twisting it. I'm bringing it beneath my cream color so that when I knit into the next stitch, I've trapped now my cream color. I've twisted them together. That's the essence of Intarsia. You're just twisting your colors so there's no spacing between your knitted stitches. So let's go ahead and knit into the row below with my new color. The next stitch will be a purl. And then again into the row below. And this is essentially your pattern that you'll repeat to get this beautiful, dense, luxe fabric that the Fisherman's Rib yields. So I'm going to go all the way across my blue stitches. Sometimes it might get a little splitty, so you're going to want to take care to make sure that the tip of your needle isn't causing any splits in your yarn. And you'll work all the way across and you'll end with a purl stitch. And now it's at this point that I like to put a marker in place that indicates on which side of my work I'm doing my twist. So I just worked across here, and remember we twisted in the back? That means it's on this side of our work that we are doing our twisting. So I'll take a marker, at this point one of these easily opened markers, and I'm going to just put that right here, anywhere, to indicate that it's on this side of your work. You want to be consistent here when you're working with a two-color Fisherman's Rib. It's always when you see that marker, you know that you're twisting on this side, or if you're working from this direction, you'll go ahead and twist in the back. So I'm going to show you one more twist on this side, so I'm going to go into fast forward mode, work to here, and then show you the twist. I've worked across all of my gray stitches, and I only have one left to work, which is a purl stitch. So I'm going to purl with my gray, and I know from my marker I'm twisting on this side. So I'm going to place my gray stitch over my gray yarn over my cream yarn, and then bring my cream yarn to the back of my work, because my next stitch I'll be knitting into the row below. So let me just show you that one more time. I finished with my purl. I place my gray yarn over my cream yarn. There's my twist. Bring my yarn to the back and knit into the row below with my new color. And just resume in that easy Fisherman's Rib pattern of purl one stitch, then knit one into the row below. And you'll go all the way across. And how about I show you one more time what to do working back this way. So I'll finish up, get to the middle, and show you one more twist. All right, I've worked across my cream colored stitches. I have one last stitch to work, which is a purl stitch. So I'll work that, and now I'm ready to twist my yarns. Now, because of my marker, I know that I need to be twisting on the back of my work here, as you can see. So I finished with a purl. That means I need to bring my yarn to the back, and it almost defaults to be over my next color, my gray color. So I'm going to let it fall where it will, but it is twisted. You can see that it is twisted here. I'm going to now begin working by knitting into the row beneath. Go ahead and give a little tug if you like. And now I have twisted my cream colored yarn on top of my blue. And as you can see, it's already beginning to tighten up in here. And those simple twists that you do on the marker side of your work enable that seam to form between your two colors. And that yields that beautiful two-tone Fisherman Rib effect. I'm going to go ahead and finish knitting across this row, and I want to show you one little trick for binding off, working with two colors. So stay tuned for that. For the purposes of this little demo, we're going to pretend that I'm making the world's teeniest little scarf and go ahead and bind off this sample. I like to keep that first stitch as a slip stitch, so go ahead and slip as if to knit. Bring your yarn to the front and purl that next stitch. Then bind off that stitch that you slipped by just taking it over the purled stitch and the tip of your needle and dropping it. Bring your yarn to the back and knit the next stitch. No need to go into the row below when binding off the elemental scarf. Just go ahead and knit the next stitch regularly. Purl. Just slide the stitch from the previous stitch over the next one like this, off the tip of your needle. I just wanted to show you that even when binding off, you'll still want to twist your colors, and that just keeps your middle seam nice and tidy all the way up the entire expanse of the scarf. And I'll also mention I like working in pattern when binding off this scarf because it lets the bind off be as stretchy and drapey as the Fisherman's Rib itself. So here I am, I have worked across all of my cream colored stitches. I'm going to go ahead and bring my yarn to the back just as before, place it over my gray like that so they're twisted, and knit that next stitch. No need again to go into the row below, just knit the next stitch regularly. Grab that new color, pull it right over, give it a little tug, and you'll see how it's pretty neat still. And staying in pattern with your new color, go ahead and purl that next stitch. And you'll be able to see that your stretchy bind off matches your German twisted cast on nicely and preserves the springy nature of that Fisherman's Rib. I hope you found that useful. Here I am wearing the two-color version of the elemental scarf. I really enjoyed working on this project, not just with Marian's materials, but also with Marian herself. She's such a talented dyer and wonderful person. I do hope you'll check out her website, which is marianatedyarns.com. She has beautiful products in an array of bases and weights, and she also does some beautiful gradients. More on that coming soon. If you did enjoy today's video, perhaps you'll consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. And speaking of subscriptions, I also do a newsletter, just often enough to be newsy without flogging your mailbox. So you can subscribe to that over at bloomhandmadestudio.com. I'll be teaching some classes in the fall. You can find my class schedule over there as well. I'll be focusing mostly on embroidery on knitting. That's been a big mainstay of my creative focus over the past couple of years. So if you've been wanting to take a class with me for that, the best way to get first dibs on those classes is to sign up for my newsletter. And if you want more regular updates, I do something almost daily over on Instagram. You can find me there at Bloom Handmade Studio. So let's hope that we'll run into each other at Woolfolk the Friday before Rhinebeck. I'd be delighted to help you pick out some combos if you want to make a two-color elemental scarf, or we'll find some single color options for you and get to know one another there. It'll be really fun to be together in person. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.